Rowan Ravenwolf with Triple Goddess Apothecary and Reiki here. So, book review day. Woo. I started out as a solitary practitioner, and thank goodness for I'm just like the first few books I found were from Scott Cunningham and Sky Alexander. So I got to throw their names out there because they kind of got me started. And thank goodness for their bibliographies in the back of their books, which got found me, which I was able to find other people, other amazing teachers that wrote books. So I thought, how cool. I'm doing unboxings. I come on and do a couple little things about crystals. So I thought, hey, you know what? I'm going to do some book reviews because I know that when we are witches, we need to learn. And it's always fabulous to kind of have an idea if you actually want to buy the book or if you don't want to buy the book. Is it one we're going to be using in our practice? Is it one we're not? And again, this is just my opinion. So you can take them or leave them. I, won't be offended if you don't like my opinions. And most of the time, I'm really going to concentrate on what I find good in a book. There's actually such a small amount that I haven't learned anything from. Even when I have been practicing for over a decade and I pick up a new book that's more for a beginner, I usually find something in there. And I don't mind reading beginning books so that I can make recommendations to brand new people in our beautiful pagan occult and witchcraft community. So, the book I chose today, this is one of my favorites, and honestly, um, one of my favorite witches. So, I was really drawn to my Celtic and heathenry ancestry. And so, of course, I'm going with a book that is published by Troy Books, and Troy Books is located in the United Kingdom. I'm going to tag them in this video just because I think it is really important that we support our community. But again, she's one of my favorite witches. So I have never met her. It would be, oh my gosh, I think I would probably pass out if I met her. Or I'd be like, what? So yeah, she's amazing. Her name is Gemma, and the book is Traditional Witchcraft, A Cornish Book of Ways. You'll see, like, as I do a lot of these book reviews, sometimes I'll have two copies of the book. So I'll grab my copy that doesn't look as used and doesn't have tabs. But I tend to use Post-it and tabs to mark pages that are important to me in the books. Sometimes it might be that there is a ritual in the book that I am going to use or I have used several times. It could potentially be potions, formularies, or there might just be something that is just so captivating and spellbound that I need to use it. So, Traditional Witchcraft, A Cornish Book of Ways. So, Gemma is a witch that is in Cornwall, England. So, she practices in Cornwall. So, a lot of the traditions are hers, but they're also traditions from the area. So, that's really important. This is, like her version, and it is fabulous. I love the formularies in here. Her witch oil is amazing. So if you have, and you have to patiently wait. So like when you actually make it up, you have to wait 6 months for it, and you have to keep it in your dark cupboard. Luckily, my basement is my dark cupboard. But I do actually, those formularies that are supposed to stay in dark cupboards, I actually have a little dark for that. But she's got incense. I will make up big batches. So a couple of my teachers who actually really liked Gemma, they have a store and they would actually sell some of it that they made up. But I was like, why am I buying it? I can make it up because I love making the formularies. So with this, there is just so much. There's not anything in here that I was like, oh yeah. So it was published in 2008. I have had this, gosh, I'm trying to remember. I think it was 2018 was when I got my first copy. I think 2017, 2018, somewhere around there. I have two copies of the book. I have read it about 5 times. And I will tell you, every time I read it, I'm like, how did I miss that the first time? Or how did I miss that? This, I've read this how many times? She's got beautiful pictures in her of her shrines and of her actually spell casting, which is, I mean, it's great. It's just an added bonus. She talks about your tools, about tools that you can use. Oh yeah. Um, Staves. She literally goes into I see I'm going to the pages that I marked. Um, I'm like a kid in a candy store. But she goes into the different woods. I know like when I got mine, I was like, I have like this affirmation to Willow. But then I had had mine before I read this, and then I was like, oh, I want an ash one. Oh, I want what? Okay, because I wanted an ash one, I wanted birch, and I also wanted a hawthorn one. And I'm like, I cannot have. you know, there's a certain point where like you don't need that many. So I only have one, but and I do love them. But the formularies are so great. So there's incense in here. Um, she's got working with spirits that I was trying to find the formularies page and I popped to the spirit page. Oh, yes. So she's got all sorts of incenses in here, all sorts. So that's one of the pages that I have marked. The serpent smoke, the hair smoke, the crow smoke. There's the exorcism. Um, I have not even made that one up yet. I hope I don't have to, but I would if I needed to. I have made the protection. The protection one is great. She talks about making her witch's oil, which the recipe is in here. Um, charm bags. So all sorts of different charm bags. She's got the planetary squares. So we all want the planetary squares, right? So this is a fabulous resource because she's got them all right here. I know there's a lot of books out of the planetary squares. Can't even talk. I'm so excited. So it's nice to have them in, at least if you're like, oh, I need this book for the working I'm doing, it's in here and you don't have to grab two books. Or you can transfer it to your book of shadows, right? So depending on like I'm so anal about mine. I can't draw, so it's kind of sad. She does talk about casting the compass, which a lot of traditional witches do. I am more, for those that don't know, I consider myself more of a traditional witch. So I follow a lot of traditional witchcraft. And so this book just really resonated with me. So it is 224 pages. She does have in the appendixes, she's got the index, so you can look up a lot of the topics in the index. And then my favorite part is the bibliography. Bibliographies are, for me, they are so important because we know, okay, this witch has learned from taking classes, but we also know she's learned from books and she's willing to share that education with you. So I love this. I love the bibliography, which is about what starts on page 215 to 217. So a little over 2 pages. It's really great. There's a lot in here about Cornwall traditions. Some of the books are a little harder to find than others. Many of them are books that were published in the United Kingdom. So I think we just have to take a trip to the UK. If you're not in the UK, let's just make this a group trip, right? And go have some fun. There's also a glossary. So what I like about this is the first time I read it, some of the terms I had not heard. Keep in mind, I'm living in America, so I don't know a lot of, like the English call elevators lifts. We call them elevators. Um, my husband lived in the UK for 16 years. When we went to load the car for the first time at the store, he kept saying, "Open the boot," and I'm like, "What?" I was very confused. That is the trunk. So, a couple of the terms um, I didn't know. So it was nice. And some of them are specific to Cornwall, England, too. So even though you may have heard of a lot of the terms, you may be like, what is this? Because it may be specific to Cornwall. So she does go into a lot of like there's dedications, there's spell crafting, this is a book with many traditions out of Cornwall, traditions that she works with. So you've got the compass casting, you've got calling on the guardians of the watchtowers, And then there's rituals in here, formularies, um, resources galore so that you can grow and you can learn more, which, like, quite frankly, that's the most important part is when we get a teacher, whether the teacher is in person or in a book, is being able to learn and grow from them. So, absolutely, absolutely love this book. You will fall in love with Gemma Gary. You can get all of her books at Troy Books. I have all of her books, so I have to admit, I, again, like I said, if I ever met her in person, I would probably pass out, or I'd be like, blah, 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 blah. And I know I would do that because I had met someone in Chicago and in downtown Chicago, and oh my gosh, I was like a deer stuck in headlights. I was just like in awe of this amazing witch, which was Michael Herkes, but that's another story. I'll talk about that when I review one of his books. But Traditional Witchcraft, A Cornish Book of Ways, I highly, highly, highly recommend this book. I love this book. I hope you will love this book. Again, there's so many wonderful things you can use in here. Most of the incenses I typically use in my rituals. The protection incense I love, the witch oil I use so much. So again, you have to wait 6 months. So yeah, pick up the book, read the book, make the formularies, and when you do, tell me how they worked out, or tell me if you liked them or not. I won't be offended if you didn't like them, just because I absolutely adore this book and I adore Gemma Gary. But again, Traditional Witchcraft, A Cornish Book of Ways by Gemma Gary. It You can only get it at Troy Books, so I will put their website in the description so that if you do love this book, you can order it. So have a blessed day and merry part.